Let's go.
Okay, buddy, stop.
Everything good?
Mm-hmm.
Sound check. Sound check.
Go ahead. Just trying to. We got the two guys who are doing their fantasy things. They're agreement with the numbers.
The fantasy team score.
Right, and I'm going back and forth and looking at it, which I didn't want to, but I think I have to agree with Franchi on this one.
It's okay.
So far, I've looked at everything he said, and that's one.
It's all right. They're doing an
But
incredible
you
job.
make sure, because we're going back and forth.
How are we looking? I just want to make sure everything's set.
I don't know.
Oh, here, I'll grab the dog.
Can't,
Say hello to Sub-Zero again today. You're getting to watch this young man grow. Say hi, Sub-Zero. Arf, 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 arf. He is now 9 weeks old. So anyway, once she gets up and set, then we'll start. Let us know if there's any.
I can't look at paper.
Let us know if there's any audio issues, and we're gonna get right into today's show.
All right, go ahead.
All right, how we looking?
Go ahead, just put them in my lap.
We good? I'm just waiting because I don't want to get started. I have to restart it.
Just go.
So we're on the cell phone today, and generally we will start, a minute or two early. And today we just had to come in and just kind of start. So just waiting on Carla to get set. All right, hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Wednesday, January the 26th, 2022. And we are at Mirror Lake Racket Club today. Again, our home away from home, which to me feels like even more home than our current home and that we live, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. Let's get down. All right, we will be rolling over the $500 that cash that we are giving away for the Australian Open. Again, I've said this every show and I'll continue to say it again. We are going to roll over that $500 that no one was able to win for this tournament, and we will roll it over for Roland Garros. And I have even thought about rolling it over for Masters 1000s, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward. Real quickly, Carla is going to do a fantasy team update. Remember, there are two winners, and each of those two winners win the same thing, $50 cash, or $50 worth of Y-Tech strings, or $50 worth of 5K tennis merchandise, or if you're one of our students, basically that would be a free tennis lesson or a free racket stringing. We have one winner already, though. There is one person that cannot be caught, and that person is Stefan Nizovic. Let's go, Stefan. I think this is
Stefan has 85, yeah.
I think this is his first win. He's always on the leaderboard, but he is uncatchable. Players below him have the same players, plus he has more. So he is uncatchable. Stefan, I love you, bro. You are a really fine young man. I will dunk on you. I just always want to put you in your place there. I got you on that. I will take you to the hole in basketball.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Before we continue, those that are watching, can you guys add for me, because it'll settle it right here. We have two people that are supposedly tied, which is Python and Cal. Gene is sending me something else. So Medvedev is a 1-point player, guys, right? That means he has 5 points. Write that down.
Yeah.
5 points. Barty is a 1-point player. Means she has 5 points. Zverev has 3 points because he lost earlier, right? He only won 3 rounds, so please add that. 5, 5, 3.
This is why we used to do separate shows for that, because half of these people don't even play it.
Well, Sinner, okay. From what I'm gathering, Gene, if you're watching, Python would be in second place, tied with Kal, because he has Medvedev, Barty, who each earned 5 points. Zverev 3 points. Muguruza 1 point. Sinner 4 points because he's a 1-point player, right? He's a 1-point player, and Hachinov is a 2-point player.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll figure that out.
Figure
Again,
that out.
most that's why we used to do separate shows
Yeah.
for this. Won't waste a lot of you don't play the fantasy team anyway. There's a battle for second place.
Yeah, we need to get that.
And there's a difference by a point or two between Gene's score and Thomas Chi's score. Again, this is why we always do it by hand. So that way we don't have to worry about a computer program flawing, or is it usually the human that makes the flaw?
I think this is the human.
Anyway, enough of that. Stefan Nizovic, let us know how you want that $50 sent to you. We will send it to you immediately. PayPal, Venmo, money order. You're in Serbia, so I don't know how that transfer will go. But money order, we've done Western Union internationally before, so no problem. You are one of the winners. All right? All right, getting started. Carla and I, speaking of winning money in sports or betting on sports or having fun, wagering on sports, we were watching a show last night on HBO called Real Sports, and Bryant Gumbel is the anchor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about betting in sports. Not necessarily that there's anything new about betting in sports, but when I was a kid growing up, if we wanted to place a bet, we had to find a bookie, and it was kind of, underneath the radar. It was definitely illegal, and it was frowned upon, and still is, as it can be addicting to people that have kind of addictive personalities. So not going there, but we were watching this segment on the show, and it was talking about how much sports betting is now a part of even watching sports, right? Mm-hmm. They were showing certain venues that had betting stations within them. They were talking about how when we're watching NFL Today or Major League Baseball Today or NBA Today, every other statement is about you can bet on this part of it, you can bet on that part of it. They were talking about, well, when we were younger and generations before us, you would just bet on the game. Who wins, who loses, what's the spread, give me the bet, and maybe parlay 2 or 3 of the games together for a bigger payout, right? Mm-hmm. But now you're able to call, of course, mid-match, mid-point, bet on who's going to win the serve or bet on if someone can get the second serve in or not, and that type of thing. So I'm only bringing this up for a couple of reasons. Number one, in your opinion, do you think it is okay to bet on sports? And second of all, how much of sports these days is won or lost based upon maybe someone betting that is kind of whispering in someone's ear, hey, you might want to throw this match because it might, you get what I'm saying? How much of sports is bet on today? And number two, is it more rampant these days than it was before? Mm-hmm. Or is it just the same and hey, there's more technology now and people can do it more legally and more openly than having to go to the local gas station as a cover for your bookie?
I think betting is dangerous in any way you look at it.
Why? Explain why it can be dangerous.
It destroys families. I mean, some people have an addiction, just like you have an addiction to alcohol or cigarettes or anything else in life. Gambling is a serious addiction, Some people, let's say you lose $50 and they're like, I'll just try to get my $50 back. Now you're down 100. Oh shoot, I'm gonna try to get my $100. So you bet another 100. Now you're down 200. And that number keeps going up and up and up. And then if you win, the problem is if you win, you think you'll win next time. And really, to me, it's just luck. It's really luck. I mean, it's really luck. Gambling is luck to me. I'm the type of person that if I go to a casino, right, and I put a coin and I win $5, I'm happy with that. I will stop. But most people can't do that. Most people, it's addicting. We were watching a show where a guy said he bet $25,000, and he was watching this baseball show, and they convinced him that if he put the money on some other team, he could probably double his money. He lost $25,000. And then, so he had to recuperate his $25,000, so he put another $25,000 in to get his $25,000 back and lost it. He was now down $50,000, and his wife divorced him because of it. He was, now stealing money from her and doing all sorts of stuff that you normally wouldn't do. Gambling is just not good. I don't know why they promoted it. I remember many, many, many years ago when they were against it. And now we see it on tennis. We see I don't even want to name the sites.
Well, it's legal. DraftKings, FanDuel.
Yeah, but that's wrong.
Caesars, just what they were talking about last night. A personal story, and I've mentioned this before, but I used to do a little bit of betting in the college years. And what stopped me was the following, and it went on for a little while. If I remember, it was like a Thursday night, and there was like Thursday night football or college football. And I had someone called a handicapper. You would pick up the phone and you would call, and it would be like a recording, or in this sense, it was a person, and that person would tell you what to bet. So I was doing that with an individual and was winning quite often, right?
Yeah.
Winning quite often. Well, comes the fateful week where I took a bet on a Wednesday night or something like that, Thursday night. And I remember the game like it was yesterday. It was the Florida State Seminoles, college football, playing NC State. So if you can find out the year that the Florida State Seminoles were favored by like 30 points over NC State, another ACC team, and not only did they not cover the 33 points that they were favored by, they lost outright. So I bet more money than I even had as a college student, which was broke, and lost that. Anyway, long story short, those bets started to continue until I found myself in a really big hole and ultimately had to pay a very dear price in terms of working for like 3 summers in a row to be able to pay my parents back for getting me out of the situation, and I never bet again. It will creep up on you and hurt you quickly. I don't feel that, spending $5 on FanDuel or spending $20 on FanDuel is a big deal. But if you're, dipping into your credit card or something that is an emergency barrier for your life, and all of a sudden you're maxed it out because you keep losing, I understand why families are torn apart because of it, because usually the wife is not too thrilled about it. Right? Anyway, why did I bring that up? Because again, we do these fun for money type things here on the show. The only difference is you're not losing anything. We're just giving it to you if you win.
And now we know who's in second place, by the way, and third place.
Okay, who's in second?
So first place, as you said, is Stefan.
Yep,
Stefan
he's already
by
won.
85 points. Okay. Second place is Python and Calc, and they both have the same picks. And how we're going to break that tie?
All right, that's a great question. For the fantasy team, generally it'll work the other way. So people that play for the $500 in cash, if someone has the same finalists and winners, we go to the fantasy team to break the tie. So this would be kind of a first-time thing, but I already have thought about this, and you guys that are tied for second, if that happens where we end and you're still tied for second, I'll give you a couple of options. You guys, whoever ties for second, can split it, 25. Heck, I'll even make it an even $30. So I'm giving away $10 more. Usually I give out 2 sets of $50. Maybe I'll do 30 and 30 respectively. Number 2, if there's a tie on the fantasy team, we can go back to the finals predictions, and whoever had the predictions that lasted the longest in the tournament. Let's say someone lost one of their 4 finalists on day 1, and the other didn't lose one of their 4 finalists to day 4. Then that person on day 4 would win. But it's up to you guys. We haven't gotten there yet, but just in case.
Yeah, right now it's Python and Calc are tied at 76. Tom Chi, Youngzae Chi, and Furzio Nai 75 points. Tom Chi here put Salty Dog Fishing has Keys and Collins, but he will need a miracle to win his fantasy competition.
Yeah, good for him. He's a new player. This is the first time he's played. He is a good friend of ours too as well. I think he's coming out for men's night here tonight to play. He's a good tennis player. So really proud of him making the leaderboard or even close to it for his first run.
Great comment by Wyndham Chia. Chapo and FAA can console each other. I think that Wildlife asked me, what's going on in Canada? I said they're teaching junior tennis. That's what's going on in Canada. I was like, they don't teach these boys how to be men.
Didn't they used
how to win like men?
Didn't they used to sleep like together in the same type of dorm setting?
I don't know, but I know that
Wyndham
Chia and Wildlife, they sent me a thing, oh, it looks like FAA is gonna win. And I put back, yeah, no, I don't believe in that. And then once I saw that they went to a third set, I said, it's over. And then when I saw he got broke, I said, it's really over now. I had no belief in him. Almost like when you have Djokovic match point, you still don't believe it until it happens.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that was going to happen. I was like, especially against Medvedev. Apparently he had a match point and it was on Medvedev's serve, but he didn't convert it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. In men's tennis, especially men's, not necessarily in the women's tennis, if there's a match in men's tennis versus women's tennis, and someone is serving for the match, it's not as much of an emphasis as counting your chickens, right? So if Medvedev is serving for the match and he doesn't win it, it's like, wow, really? But if, per se, Swiatek and Daniel Collins, that we'll talk about here shortly, but if one of them was serving for the match and it ended up, 5-5, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? In men's tennis, it's a little bit more difficult to break that serve. However, do you remember when Roger Federer was serving for the match at Wimbledon a couple years ago and Djokovic pulled it out? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
So it does happen. Speaking about Novak Djokovic, just for a second, we have talked about for a couple of weeks or a couple of shows that due to what happened prior to the Australian Open involving Djokovic and getting exiled from the country, whatever, we talked about that situation may hamper or hurt his growth from sponsors, or maybe even pull some sponsors away from him. Didn't work that way. Just read an article a little while ago that the French watchmaker Hublot, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it, Hublot, which is one of his sponsors, not only agrees with him in terms of keeping your medical stuff and stuff private, but also beefed up his sponsorship.
Good.
So I just wanted to mention that because from the French watch manufacturer Hublot, it actually is something that the corporate office of Hublot agrees with. In other words, that stuff should be private.
It should be private. Medical stuff should not be something that you shouldn't be. How are people so comfortable asking somebody, hey, did you get a shot? Hey, did you get your flu shot? Hey, did you get your measles shot? Did you get your pap smear done? Did you get your boobs checked? Did you have a prostate check? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Carla.
Did you get your colonoscopy done?
Yeah. Hey, Carla. It's nice to meet you. I've never met you before. You look good. But before I talk to you, have you had your pap smear and your mammogram this past month? And by the way, did you get your vaccine to polio? I don't know. Hey, you got to answer those questions before we talk. Okay, starting off with...
That's when you said, yo no hablo inglés.
What does that mean?
I don't speak English.
Oh, you mean habla no inglés. Okay, topic number 1, and we just were talking a little bit about it. Félix Auger-Aliassime, aka FAA. FAA, as you'll notice in the title of the video, FAA. Is it safe to say Félix Auger-Aliassime choked, or is it like we always said on this show, and have for many years now, is it that Félix Auger-Aliassime just hasn't been able to develop that, get some manliness, and number 2, hasn't developed that, special weapon that he can use to end points earlier and to play a more offensive role throughout the match?
Is Tony Nadal still his coach? And if so, he needs to save the money on the coaching and work and get rid of Tony Nadal, maybe hire someone like, there's mental coaches. There's
sports psychologist.
Yeah, he needs that. He forget about the regular coach. You don't need that. Go to a sports psychologist. That's what he needs.
Andy Murray went through a similar trajectory. If you look back, Andy Murray would always have a really difficult time closing the doors, especially majors. And he started to get some assistance with sports psychologists and the like. And Murray ended up winning Wimbledon. Mm-hmm. Do you think that a young Félix Auger-Aliassime is better, worse, or the same as a young Andy Murray?
He's the same.
The same as the young Andy Murray?
He's about the same. Yeah, Andy Murray had to figure it out. It took him a while. I thought that Andy Murray would not improve for a long, long time. It kept, you could almost feel like he could win, but there was something stopping him. Yeah. I think about the same, because they have about the same game style.
Yeah. Andy Murray as a young player and throughout his career, I mean, at least until I think he got his first major, U.S. Open or Wimbledon, what was first? I think it was Wimbledon. It's U.S. Open, I think, I don't recall. Mm-hmm. But Andy Murray was very emotionally, I'm not going to say unstable, that's a bad word. We're talking about sports and not mental health here. Mm-hmm. But when the going got tough, Andy Murray wouldn't necessarily get going. Mm-hmm. And I think you're seeing a lot of that same thing with Félix. What do you think he needs to do? I get sports psychology and keeping a strong mental fortitude is important. Mm-hmm. But what are some other things that are just as important as sports psychology? I still don't think he has this gnarly weapon that other players are like, whatever you do, don't hit it there, right? Mm-hmm. Like one of Djokovic's big weapons, the return of serve. He's arguably one of the best returners of all time, if not the best. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard for a server to say, hey, don't serve it to him, because you have to serve it to get the point into the play. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. One of Djokovic's key strengths is flexibility, sports psychology, and the return of serve. What are some of Félix Auger-Aliassime's major weapons? And I can't really think of one.
No. Mitrovic says Andy has the big 3 to fight with them. FAA has the lack of balls.
That's a good one.
How are you going to wake up the dog?
I just want to see this guy.
Jeez, man.
What do you think?
Then you forget that my legs are the ones that get torn up by
What do you think? Yeah, we don't want to cover up the legs. You have nice legs. But what do you think, buddy? Huh? Does Andy Murray does Félix Auger-Aliassime need to learn something from Andy Murray? Okay, here you go. But yes, I thought it was worth mentioning because it's very synonymous. I see a young Murray trajectory in Félix. Murray was able to change it, and I think manhood had something to do with that. I think Murray finally grew up, blossomed a little bit late. Mm-hmm. But Félix choked. I don't know another way to say it. And the better player won. Medvedev.
Gene Source says FAA deserves more credit for making the match very competitive. He never took a set off Medvedev in 3 prior meetings. Yeah, but what does that do for you? What does that really do for you?
Yeah,
it's like if I go play a player, I gotta set off Serena. Big deal.
Yeah,
big deal. You gotta beat him.
Yeah.
So what? You gotta set.
Yeah.
And you're a pro. You're like in the top 10 now. You should take 2 sets from him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you gotta win.
Yeah, you should have.
What makes a champion? That you can't say it's okay. You lost 2nd place. You deserve a trophy.
It's
or
okay.
3rd place, 4th place. No.
It's okay. You lost,
No.
but it's okay. Gene is young, and he's a very fine young man. Needless to say, but if anything, when you get to be, a man, or think of yourself as a man, is just losing simply is deflating.
Think about it. You were up 2 sets.
2 sets.
2 sets. It's like Federer. Federer needs to be slapping himself for having on his serve Wimbledon title and loses to Djokovic.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has Djokovic been down and turns it around? That's the difference between a champion, in my opinion. Someone that mentally can get out of it and win.
I agree.
And this was the test for him, and he failed it.
I agree. I think there is no, at this level, there is no, well, I did better this time than I did last time, so give me a huggy. Give me a huggy. Oh, it's okay, Felix, we love you. It's okay, you did better. Let me give you some hot cocoa and a little toy from the Pokemon store. Nah, if you're up 2 sets to none, especially at this point in any tournament, much less a major, and you lose up 2 sets to none, it's more negative psychologically than it is positive. I can assure you, it's deflating.
He played a man. He played a man. I said it when these 2 guys sent me a message. I said, he better shut it down now. I told Wayne and Chia, I said, he better close this now, because we know how Squidward is.
Squidward, that's Medvedev, is Squidward?
We know how he is.
Squidward from SpongeBob.
He's a man, he's a fighter, he's feisty. He's gonna figure it out. Plus, he's won a slam, so he has. And he's what, number 2 in the world? Mm-hmm. So yeah, Matt, come on.
The better player won, and this better performance, as Gene, as you respectively said, hey, I got a set or 2 sets that I never had before. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things we say, woogis. Who gives a shit? WGAS, woogis. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any damn difference. You lost, and no one will remember that set. No one will remember it was the first set he won off Medvedev. The only thing someone will remember is that he was up 2 sets to none and choked. Choked, for sure. Félix Auger-Aliassime, at this point in his career now, which is still relatively young.
They're both young. Him and Shapo are both young.
He's got plenty of time to grow.
Yeah.
But again, how many players over decades or 100 years of tennis have been...
He choked. He got broken, too.
How many players have been at this level, but way beyond it at a younger age? Boris Becker, Rafael Nadal, I mean, the list freaking goes on. His time is ticking, in other words, to start rolling off majors, and based upon the trajectory, I don't think he'll ever win one. Does anyone think he'll ever win a major?
I agree that a match point against Medvedev's serve is tough, but my point is, here you go into the 4th set. And then you get broken. I mean, come on, man. And
they got broken early in the 5th.
Come on, that's right there. I mean, you have no confidence in yourself. Come on. What were you doing in the first 2 sets that you couldn't continue to do?
You
obviously lost confidence.
Yeah,
obviously lost confidence.
Maybe Medvedev just started a little, around the bush. Maybe it took him a little while.
Shapo did the opposite. He was down 2 sets, so I give Shapo more credit than FAA. Why I give him more credit? Because he was down 2 sets. Had to fight down 2 sets to win the next 2 sets, and then he got angry. So I give Shapo a bigger star than FAA.
Yep. And it's amazing we're talking about these 2, and these 2 grew up. I'm not saying growing up, but they spent a lot of time together before pros. I read articles where these 2 used to sleep in the same room on couches while they were training. And
they were their best friends.
Yeah, so there you go. So it's interesting that we have them in the same type segment. If you had to say who's the better player between the 2 of them, Shapovalov or Félix Auger-Aliassime,
I think Shapo, because he's had bigger wins.
I'm just saying, I think they're about even.
No, he's had bigger wins though. Who has FAA beat? That's a big win. Besides, he used to beat Tsitsipas in the beginning and then not anymore.
No one really remembers second place.
Nadal, Shapo has beaten Nadal before, right?
That's a great question.
Yeah, he has at a Canadian.
Yes, that's right. He beat him in a 2 out of 3 set tournament.
He's beaten him before, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, next topic, and we I think missed this on yesterday's show because the match hadn't started, and that was the Yannick Sinner against Stefanos Tsitsipas, or how do you say his name now? It's not Tsitsipas anymore. It's Tsitsipas, Sissy bitch or something.
Sissy bitch beat Sissy ass beat
Yannick Sinner.
Sinner. Yeah, I guess he schooled Sinner too.
Relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
Straight set, something like 6-4, 6-3, 6-2, or 6-4, 6-3, 6-2, something like that. But in other words, he broke him a couple times in the match, and by the set score at least once, if not twice, and held his throughout the way. Again, when you look at two players for me that I don't particularly care too much for either one of them, namely Sinner and Tsitsipas. Sinner seems like a fine young man, but if I'm watching two people play that I'm not super big fans of, and from a coaching standpoint,
I like Tsitsipas' game. Don't get me wrong. Tsitsipas, I like his game. I've always liked his game. I liked him before, but this whole bathroom break and all this BS, that's why I stopped liking him. But his game is a beautiful game to watch. The one-handed game. He actually thinks. He moves forward when he has his opponent on the run. So we're looking at, besides me personally not liking him, his game is complete to me. He's got one of the best games, in my opinion.
Yep.
Better than Sinner. Sinner has the two-handed, the same stroke that every other guy has.
Exactly.
Where Tsitsipas has something different, So
yeah, watching this match, I didn't particularly care who won it. I know we talked about it a lot. We all did on a couple of shows. But if I don't particularly feel the energy of a particular player, I'm gonna choose the best player that I want to win based upon, if it's men, that they have one or a two-handed backhand. How I grew up, my father raised us into the game very young. We were always told, at least in our era of growing up, that if a man had two hands on his backhand, then he really wasn't acceptable to watch. I know that has changed. I understand that.
I disagree with that, but
I know. But I'm just saying, when I was young, coming up on the West Coast, we would travel in tournaments, whether it was Virginia Beach, Virginia, or San Francisco, California, or wherever. It was very rare you would see a young junior or boy with two hands on the backhand side. It was a one-handed backhand, and it's just changed. So when I watch matches where I'm not particularly fond of either player, I kind of get nostalgic, at least watching the person with one hand. I don't like Tsitsipas because now every pro that has to go to the bathroom, they have to have mommy and daddy walking with them. In other words, a security guard or a tournament director or somebody to walk with them to the bathroom and say you have 2 minutes left, 1 minute left, all because of Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I still kind of pulled for him during the match because he hit a one-handed backhand. Fair enough.
Anthony Newton says Tsitsipas choked as well in the French Open versus Djokovic. Yeah, he did. It changed his whole tennis season, and it went down. Instead of going up.
Exactly.
You're right, it did.
And that's a great comment.
And that's the difference between a champion. See, Medvedev, on the other hand, you got to give him credit because he made Djokovic look like a sissy ass at the U.S. Open. He made him look bad. I mean, I never seen Djokovic look so bad that you wanted to cry for him.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah, he looked bad. That was a bad final. I mean, Medvedev was toying. He was just not giving him pace. And mentally, we know Djokovic wasn't there. So you got to give credit to Medvedev. See, that's where mentally he got through it. Medvedev could have conceived and give him 21 he would have had.
Yep.
He didn't. That's the difference. That's the difference between a man or not a choker.
Well, and also Medvedev's a Russian fighter. I mean, the Russians, and I won't get into the geopolitical things going on right now with Ukraine and Belarus and the whole eastern flank and the eastern front in Europe, even though I follow it actively. And we did have a couple of messages from a couple of people yesterday, one in Romania, another one from Belarus, I think, that were talking about, it's not much of a worry to us, but nonetheless, this time we're kind of staying on edge a little bit. But the Russians, they don't really mess around too much. I mean,
he's learned though, because he might have choked Anastasia, but even against Nadal, he fought and came back. He was down 2 sets, fought, came back, and they went to a 5th set. So obviously, out of all the guys, he's had more balls than anyone else because he's actually beaten somebody he was supposed to lose to. I mean, Djokovic has got to be slapping himself on the head. I could have had 21, but this guy, he stopped me from doing that.
Yeah, Anastasia, quick question. Where you're from, or where is your ancestry from? The first name. When I hear Anastasia, I'm thinking Eastern Europe. I'm thinking maybe Ukraine, or I'm thinking Russia, or somewhere and that aspect of the world. And maybe you're, in Zimbabwe for all I know, but I'm curious of where your Anastasia came from. I love words. I love learning. And when I hear Anastasia, I'm thinking Russian. Let's go, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like.
And I give Medvedev this match against Tsitsipas, by the way.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, he's gonna whoop his ass.
So can I ask all of you a question, and you from a coaching standpoint?
Sure.
We all know that. We all know that Medvedev, like Nadal, returns serve from about 37 miles behind the baseline, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know too many people outside of like Nick Kyrgios that'll throw in an underhanded serve and make that big lanky linguini noodle move forward just to get the ball and then maybe lob it over his head, except that he's so tall he might still get the overhead. But I'm still trying to figure out why no one gives Medvedev off-speed pitches. You understand what I'm saying in baseball and off-speed pitch? If I'm throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball, pop, 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 all of a sudden I throw in a changeup, the batter's already swinging because he's expecting the fastball, and then he swings and the ball hasn't gotten to the glove yet with the off-speed pitch. Mm-hmm. With that said, I wonder why no one just lollipops a serve in and makes his big whapping ground strokes take place a little bit closer into the
I don't know why they don't move him
Why don't
forward.
they move him forward?
I don't know that.
Now, who was the last person that we talked about on the show prior to playing Medvedev that said himself that my tactic against Medvedev is going to be exploiting the short court?
He didn't listen to himself, though.
Who was it?
Djokovic. He didn't listen to himself at the U.S. Open.
Didn't listen to himself. But he
didn't. It was done to him. It was the opposite that was done to him.
Sports psychology. Sometimes players that even plan or strategize for certain strategies against an opponent, they get wrapped up in the moment. They think they have to change something, or better yet, they don't think, and then they just play a different, something different. That's why a lot of players, they keep pen and paper in their bags, right? And they go sit down, and they can't have a phone or anything, but they pick up this sheet of paper out of the bag, and they're like, okay, bring him up, bring him short.
I think it would be effective, Jose Pete, to bring Medvedev to the net.
Bring him forward.
He's got a flat shot, which means, and not only that, he's got quite a bit of height on him. So the taller you are, and if the shots you hit him lower to his feet, it means he has to bring it up, or he's forced to come to the net. Yeah. I'm not sure why that strategy has not been done on him. I'm not sure why more players don't slice on him. Make him get down, especially with flat shots. Not so much on the backhand side, because you can get away with it on the backhand side. More on the forehand side, because his take back is so far back. I don't understand why they don't do that. I think Tsitsipas will give him a good match, though. Yeah. Because he is a smart player. You got to give him that.
The men's side needs a Barty. The men's side needs a Barty. Someone that can slice it and dice it and yet hit through the ball. And hit through the ball. What's up, Mason? Hit through the ball when they need to hit through the ball. The last person that we were able to see actually tell his opponent, being Medvedev, all right, I'm going to bring him to the net, was Djokovic, and he won. I think it was
Wimbledon.
It was Wimbledon, maybe, I forget, or it was a semifinal, whatever it was. But he won the match, and then ultimately they played at the U.S. Open, and he went away from the strategy. Go figure, right?
So Anastasia said she is actually Greece. Anastasia is Orthodox. Nemeso,
kind of like Djokovic then.
Russia.
Orthodox too, right?
Yeah. Anastasia says, agree with Carla. You have to fight and learn from big losses. If you don't have them, then probably you don't have champions mentally / brain. Yeah.
Was it Anastasia that corrected us the other day? We were talking about Patrick Mouratoglou and we mentioned French.
No, that was Freelancer. But he has a French accent, so he's obviously picked up the French accent because he speaks.
Well, and he's really into his looks like your typical Frenchman.
Yeah.
How do I look? I look very good. Let me tell you. All you have to do is come to my.
He does look very good.
All you have to do.
He does look very good.
All you have to do is come to my academy.
And not my type of guy, but he looks good.
Yeah, he just tells you, if you come to my academy and you learn that I look good, you will play good because you look how you feel, and I look good. So if I'm your coach, then you will play very good. Look how you feel.
Look how you feel.
Look how you feel.
Jack Notes, he said, who's closer to winning a slam, Stefanos or Sasha? I think Stefanos, yeah.
Yeah, Stefanos for sure. Look, if you're at this level and you still are throwing in double faults, not as much as before, but at inopportune moments, it's going to be really tough for you giving up 3 points. I wonder how many double faults he had against Shapovalov. There wasn't a lot.
Didn't you read an article where it says Zverev is just happy to make money?
Yes, let's talk about that. I forgot. Fist pump on that. Okay, didn't write this unexpected, but Carla and I were we were watching a tennis match and researching news for a show, and we clicked on an article. And I forget who I should give credit to, but there was an article and there was a sports writer writing about Zverev and a problem that this sports writer had with Zverev's attitude. So the moral of the story is multiple players were being interviewed by ex-journalists, and one answer stood out to the journalist, and he kind of took that and made his story out of it. A statement that Zverev made was basically responding to how he felt he would do this year or whatever, and his response was something nonchalant, was like, hey, I like tennis. It's my job, and either way, I'm going to make a lot of money. So, and maybe you don't really understand it from a player's perspective or a coaching perspective, but if I have a student or whatever, or any player, that the first thing that pops out of their head is how much money I'm going to make, I don't find a big mental focus on the task at hand, which is winning majors, right? Hey, I got another gold chain, I'm good, let's go. I'm making a lot of money anyway. That tells you his first priority is money, and that's fine. Sometimes we think without speaking, and just like why children are so honest, kids tend to say what they mean without thinking about the repercussions. And Zverev is still very much a little boyish acting. Like he just smashed a racket the other day once again. Now, granted, I know Djokovic does it and the likes of many others, but when I see a puppy hater number one, look, Zverev, he doesn't like the puppy. He doesn't like the puppy. He fired Lindell over the damn puppy. Okay, he doesn't like puppies, and he smashes rackets. He's still very immature, and
he don't like puppies.
And
he don't like you.
The first thing he answers to a journalist is, either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make a lot of money anyway.
Better, because he's got a daughter. You better get ready to pay child support.
Yeah, and that was kind of another dicey situation.
Better get ready, because the more money you have, the more problems.
You guys remember this, right? So Zverev had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend spoke out about him being abusive to her.
No, that's the other one.
Who?
This one, they just broke up. They broke up. The one, his baby.
Who was the other one?
The other
that
one
was Zverev.
No, not the one that was pregnant, had the baby.
Someone said Zverev was abusive. They had to call hotel security.
That second girlfriend, the one that was a tennis player, not the one that got pregnant. That one just didn't want him involved being the daddy.
So, figure this out. There's a female that's not trying to sue him, that doesn't want him involved with the kids, and that called him out for abuse.
No, another one called him
Another
abuse.
one. What I'm
she
saying,
didn't call him out for abuse. That was another one.
Usually if the girl wants money, okay, it's questionable. But when she doesn't want money, and hey, better yet, I don't want you anywhere near myself or my kid, generally you gotta have to watch out. Like, someone might be telling the truth, maybe. I don't know, I'm too stupid to know.
I don't know, not my problem.
Not my problem either, but just saying.
I'm sure White Beater also figured it out, because he has a new girlfriend as well.
Who else got called down for wife issues? Nicholas Bachelet.
Yeah, but he's got a new girlfriend, so I'm sure he settled it out. He said he better start working hard, because
maybe he gave him a tennis.
When you guys have money, remember, you screw over a girl,
be careful.
You're in trouble. Woo! I hate to be a guy with a lot of money, because you're in trouble if you mess up.
You think?
Not only that, can you trust the person you're with? Does she like me for me?
Yeah.
Or for my looks, or for what?
Yeah. Money is definitely biblical in that it's the root of all evil. I've seen we all have some really crazy things go down because of money. Our take on money is you need it. I understand that. But there's more things to life. We do have to pay bills. We get that.
We do have
to buy food and so forth. But ultimately, after that, it's kind of like last on my list.
Let me tell you, I have many opportunities before I met you to be with very wealthy guys. But I don't sell myself. And hell no. There's got to be passion in life. If there's no passion and you're going to sell yourself just because someone has money, yuck.
Can you enlighten us about one of these stories? Let me hear about it.
When I was single, doctors, I had one guy that he was like the head of the cancer thing. A lot of money. He was older, and there's no way I could live my life that way.
Dang,
I may have everything, but no thank you. I can't sell myself like that.
So I beat out the doctor that ran the Cancer Institute? Let's go. That made my day right there.
No.
All right, and I think when I met you, I was living in Montgomery in like a slanted house. When I met Carla, I was living in a rental house
I'm dumb.
in Montgomery, and the house was on like a foundation that was like prairie sand or something, and my living room slanted like this, and the couch would slide down, and then my walls were all cracking. I just got into coaching, at least at the club level. I've been coaching privately, and I got into a club, and anyway, I got my feet wet doing that, and then I met you in a slanted house.
Oh, I like this. William Sensor said, Abusarev, Abusarev and Bash wife Silly, Bash wife Silly is famous enough to get a new trophy women, even with their reputations. True. Because women, they don't care. They just care a lot. They just care about this. It's sad.
Those nicknames were classic. Can I see that? Can I see the nicknames he just made up? Because we're big on nicknames. Where is that?
Abusarev.
Okay, William Spencer. He gets an honorable mention for this. Instead of Zverev or Puppy Hater, it's Abusarev.
Abusarev.
And instead of Nicholas Bashlisvili, it's Bash's wife Silly. Let's go!
Oh, Bash's wife Silly.
William
That's good,
Spencer
really.
so far, quote of the day, Bash's wife Silly will be playing Abusarev next month.
Woo!
You know, you should get those two guys and put them in like they, you know, this guy Jake Paul does. You know, he like fights.
Yes, you're right though. A lot of WTA players, Michael Walker, married billionaires, but they got money, so I don't know. They just
A lot, maybe a few.
Halep's
Simona
one.
Halep is one. Jessica.
She's a billionaire
She's
herself.
a billionaire herself.
Yeah.
Give me some more billionaires.
Yeah, but if you notice, the guys they pick are not like olden or yeah. It's kind of different with women. I think it's a little bit different with women. Most guys don't really go after the women because they have money, unless they're super old. Because I do see this a lot in the tennis world.
Ooh.
I won't mention names, but you see this at clubs. That younger guys go out with cougars. You leave your head. You kind of scratch your head, and you're like, what?
A who? A cougar?
Like older woman.
What is the
And
definition
you're
of a
kind
cougar?
of scratching your head. You're like, why?
But what is it? Like definitively? What?
Like an older woman, that's attractive.
That's promiscuous.
But she's older, but she's got money and power. And then these younger guys, they go after them.
Wow, but that's kind of nappy.
It is, but I don't know.
So an older female with money and power is called a cougar. I've heard this, but I've never.
They
really...
go after younger guys.
Okay.
A cougar.
And then so in other words, it's kind of like so.
It's like a 60-year-old woman with a 40-year-old guy. That's a cougar.
So I'm guessing, but there's women that
I've seen 80-year-olds.
So it works two ways, because sometimes younger women go out with older men for the same reason.
Yes.
So what is the other called? So the woman is the cougar.
Sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy?
Sugar daddy.
So is it possible that a sugar daddy ever gets tired of being a sugar daddy and the cougar tired of getting a cougar?
Yes, they do.
And
get
they
tired.
both meet together?
They do get tired, yes.
Do they get retirement pay?
I don't know. I will never be in that category because I will never be a cougar and I will never go after sugar daddy.
What makes a sugar daddy or a cougar finally retire? Cancer or pneumonia? What finally puts the cougar out of the game? I mean, if
she gets too old?
Like Hugh Hefner, rest in peace, but Hugh Hefner was like with,
Why are we talking about this?
About that. I got lost in that.
I don't know, but Wendy Chia says, no money, no honey.
Good rhyme.
Gene Swartz says, who will win the pillow strangle? Fight Zverev or Bashvili?
That's right.
Wendy Chia said, Bashvili, he looks like a street fighter.
Yeah, and he fought pretty well. Only problem, the person he was fighting with his girlfriend. Exactly. All right, we can still keep talking about that, but I do want to bring the next part up, and this is the match between Iga Swiatek and Kanepi. It was a 3-setter. I know a lot of you were kind of messaging us at this point in time. I know Robert Frush out there was one of them, and he was saying, damn, Kanepi looks rough. Like, what?
He said that like many days
He
ago.
said it like, but either
Man,
way.
you bringing it up.
Okay,
Poor Robert.
Anyway, Kanepi's a big hitter. Swiatek, not necessarily so, at least not often or not throughout a match consistently. Thoughts on this match, Carla? Did the better player win? And what are your thoughts about Swiatek in the next round? So
She faces Collins. Collins destroyed Cornet. I mean, the first set was tight. It was close, But you could tell that Collins was overpowering Cornet. Cornet's shots, one of the commentators mentioned her shots are more flat. And Collins, they even did a comparison in speed where they were hitting
RPMs, yeah.
forehands, and it was like 10 more compared to Cornet's shot. I mean, Collins was dominating with her backhand. She was aggressive, always plays aggressive tennis. Well, it's a big hawk up there.
A hawk?
Look, it's coming up to the left. You see it? You see it? They've mentioned hawks here, like be careful of the dog.
That's awesome.
That's a big one. But she just overpowered her. The second set was like 6-1. She was too much for Corday, in my opinion. Too much. And I think that Swiatek is going to have her hands full of Collins.
I would agree.
I think that Collins has nothing to lose. She's been in the semis before. You know, I think Swiatek has more to prove because she's a Grand Slam champion and, you know, has a new coach. You know, she, after her French Open win, kind of had her lows, you know, so I think she has a lot more to prove. But Collins has no coach, has a boyfriend that she yells at with long hair. And, you know, she's gonna fight every point. She's gonna go for shots.
Yeah, you know, sometimes these relationships that certain players have with their coaches, it gets kind of odd. Do you remember, and I forget the coach's name, maybe it was just a hitting partner, but Aryna Sabalenka had this coach at one time, and they would come down, coach on the sideline, and they would
he was rushing. He was a tennis player.
Yeah,
but that's not her coach. That's her boyfriend.
Well, I understand that, but we see, you know, Danielle Collins is not new to the game. She was a two-time national champion at the University of Virginia. She played for the University of Florida for a little while, finished her degree, got into tennis, has made some deep runs. She's been injured here and there, but nonetheless, she's healthy now. I see that Danielle Collins is a player kind of like Aryna Sabalenka, but with not as much issues with double faulting.
I think
she's a big hitter. She hits the ball.
She
hits the ball. She hits the ball. She's like a little bit older version of Amanda Anisimova, kind of. Hits the ball. Kind of like Madison Keys in a way. Just
she hits the ball better. She has a beautiful backhand. You watch her backhand, great backhand to teach girls. I mean, just solid. She hits that down the line shot, which you need.
Yeah, so Danielle
knows
Collins opens up her tennis toolbox. We've talked about this a lot. It's a metaphor. You know, if I have a deep toolbox, if I open up my toolbox and I need to build a house, you know, I got a screwdriver, a hammer, I got a bandsaw, I got sandpaper, I got glue, I got nails, and so forth. That's a player like Barty. She has a lot in her toolbox. If she's
the only one in all of that list of semis that has the variety.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying she has enough. She doesn't have as many tools in her toolbox that Barty has, but she has a few more tools in her toolbox than everybody else.
These guys are mean, by the way.
That's okay.
I'll mention two comments after you.
Okay. Anyway, in terms of the Swiatek-Kanepi match, the better player I think won. The player with more variety won.
Yeah, Cornet's weak.
The player that's won a major before and has dealt with a little bit of pressure at her young age in comparison to Kanepi won.
Oh, you're talking about Kanepi. Okay.
But in terms of the Collins match, moving forward, I still like the player that is not so much limited by their tools. I think Collins is more limited by her tools than Swiatek.
Swiatek's supposed to win that match.
And she should win
I think she's supposed to, but I want Collins to win.
Well, yes, she's from the U.S. and she's put in her work.
Well, I've never liked Swiatek, but
well, I don't
not because of her game. I've never. There's nothing. She looks like this bird. Like every time she's like, she looks like this.
Wait a minute! Whoa! You're knocking Swiatek for saying, "Come on!" What the hell does Danielle Collins do?
She looks like an ostrich. I think she looks like an ostrich or like a wildlife. That's his girl. So him and I go back and forth about it. I think I sent him a picture of ostrich. He's like, "Yeah, that's pretty close."
What about Elisa's Cornet's nose? She looks like a dang.
So let me go back to this comment. William Spencer said, "Anyone know where any of these dangerous, wealthy cougars are hunting?"
Can you read it? Can I read it without laughing? All right, where's
William Spencer?
All right, William Spencer says, "Does anyone know where any of these dangerous, wealthy cougars are hunting for young dudes?" I don't know. Well, we can definitely pass your number around. Who's coming?
William Spencer. After that, he says, "So I can run."
I don't even see it.
He says here, "So I can stay."
What?
I could just imagine.
There's nothing under it.
He says, "So I can stay safe, of course."
Where?
Justin, are you blind?
Oh, man. Anyone know where any of these dangerous, wealthy cougars are hunting for young dudes? So I can stay safe, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly know, but man, I don't care. I don't care what the situation was. I would rather be solo and single than going out with a wrinkled raisin.
Anyways, we're all gonna get wrinkled. It's not the
let's get old together. I don't want to volunteer for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll get there in time, but nonetheless, and we'll get there together as
We'll get there
one.
together, yeah.
Okay.
Ryan Mason said, I was scared of Kanepi. I was hoping she would not make eye contact with me.
Yeah. Did you guys notice? Check this out. You know
eye
how
contact
when they
with
show players coming back to serve, they show them, and I hate to say this, but it's true. We were watching the match, and let's say that Swiatek, or I'll just name a player, is walking back to the baseline, and the video cameras on them. They're like, well, she has to really get this serve in, and they're showing a picture of her face, and she's all cool, and she's bouncing the ball, she's getting all set, and they're showing her face and the sweat dripping off her brow. When they showed Kanepi, though, they had pictures, they were talking and they were showing her feet. It's like, well, here comes Kanepi, she's getting all set here and she's getting ready. And I'm like, why do I keep looking at someone's legs? And then Robert Flush was like, damn. I'm like, well, I knew that, but I didn't think, I never registered
Oh,
to me.
man.
I'm like, what's up with the foot
Did
coming?
we hear about Venus Williams? And someone asked, does Venus Williams qualify as a cougar? She's a virgin.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, we're talking about this. I'm like,
No, but that they were asking is she's apparently wanted to save herself from marriage.
is it Tim Tebow that way?
There's nothing wrong with that.
So Tim Tebow and
Kudos
Venus.
to her.
Tim Tebow and Venus Williams could actually meet up and
No, Tim Tebow got married already.
okay, well he got past that.
Yeah, he got past that. But
There's
good
nothing
for
wrong with
her.
that.
She
Nothing
believes
wrong
in the
with
Jehovah Witness. She's a Jehovah Witness, so she believes in that. You got to get married.
Well,
first.
and Carla is one to speak freely about that. She knows a lot about that because of family involvement, and that's respectable. Anyway, what are your thoughts, given that you brought up Venus Williams, about her dropping out of the top 1,000 in the world?
Well, we knew that. I was, she hasn't played any matches. I was wondering why she's still playing.
Isn't Serena Williams now out of the top 100?
Who's Serena?
Serena.
No, it's not.
Are you sure Serena Williams?
What's her ranking, guys?
Is Serena Williams outside of the top 100
She
right
can't
now?
be. No,
I think so.
I don't think so. Can
I
someone
think
check
so.
that? No.
Is Serena Williams out of the top
Let's see.
100?
Let's put here Serena Williams.
After this tournament's over, points defense is done. I want to say.
Did she play last year? I don't think she played last year. Anyways, she
Look
had
at the
no points
rankings.
to defend.
I'm just guessing. But
She had no points to defend.
look, if Serena has to be way back there.
She's number 59.
Okay. Well, I think that will drop.
But she wins a few matches, she goes back up. She didn't play the French Open last year, so she has nothing to defend there. Wimbledon, she lost in the first round because remember she was injured. Oh, she was.
Was that a first round match?
That was a first round match, babe. She has no points to defend. So maybe if she won 3 rounds, 4 rounds, her ranking will go right up again.
Anyway, best of luck for Serena.
Osaka's 95.
In the world.
Wow.
That'll come up in time.
So Serena's what? 265 after this?
Told you. Get some. Let's go.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't
Well,
look
she
at.
made the semifinals but they don't go back up.
I don't
Venus
know.
is outside the
I
top.
don't know. I don't know if that's going to go back
It'll
up.
go back up.
Because you have to
See,
play.
the problem with Serena being 265 is that a top player doesn't want to face her in the first round. That's the problem. Remember with Sharapova when she was told not to play tennis for a little while because of whatever she took, and then she came
Millennium.
back and Hala played her first round. That was a bad match for her and lost in the first round.
I remember you and I. We were doing the shows then,
And
you and I both said that Sharapova would beat her, and she did.
And she did. I was happy.
U.S. Open,
So-
I think. Was it U.S. Open?
Then, haven't we heard rumors? Her and her marriage? There's a lot of rumors going on about her marriage now.
Yeah. Is Serena Williams getting divorced from the gentleman that founded Reddit? What's his name? That goes to show you that the woman.
Ohanian.
Alex Ohanian. Yeah, there is talk of those two splitting up. I'm curious to know if that's true. Not really. I could care less. Willius, actually.
Hopefully they're not. Hopefully that's all rumors because they have a little daughter, man. You'd hate to see a marriage already break up. I mean, any marriage. I'm just saying.
Exactly. It happens though. Do we need to really bring up anything about the Danielle Collins and Cornet match?
No, this was just a player that overpowered another player.
Yeah, and congratulations for Cornet after something like 69 majors made her first quarterfinal appearance. Good job for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even saying the better player won though.
Collins has better weapons, more of a weapon than Cornet does.
More like she can scream louder.
Mm-hmm.
All right, jumping into the semifinal reviews, and let's talk about this. Let's be objective about it, and let's get to work.
You're snoring?
Ashley Barty is playing Madison Keys. Carla, who wins? You guys, who wins and why?
Technically, Barty should win, right?
Technically,
should win.
yeah.
Keys, maybe I'm hoping Keys does well. for her. I would love for her to win this slam. But that's a hope for her. But Barty technically should beat her with all the tools she has.
I mean, I get you, but at the same time, how do we look at this? It's a toolbox issue. Here's Barty. Open up her toolbox. All the tools are in there. Are nuts and bolts and hammers and saws and glue and a level and a measuring tape. Okay, here comes Madison Keys. We got a hammer and another hammer and one more hammer. Okay, well, if there's a whole bunch of nails on the court, then Keys has an opportunity to win. But unfortunately, if Barty gets tired of using the nail, she's going to pull out a screw and then a screwdriver. You get what I'm saying. I don't think Keys has a shot to win unless she is pounding that hammer and not missing her targets.
409 says Keys will hit home runs versus Barty.
Exactly. Exactly. Well said. So yeah, that's exactly the case. Keys is going to whack the ball. Mm-hmm. She's going to hit it. Whether or not it's match point against her, match point for her, break point, she is going to whack the ball. Barty, on the other hand, if it's match point against, hey, whatever got me here in the first place, I might want to change that up now because I might lose because of it. She thinks, and not Sabalenka whacks, right?
Yeah. Barty would have to feel the nerves, which I don't think she will, not until she reaches the final.
The same reason why I think Medvedev will ultimately lose to Nadal if they meet. The same reason why I think Berrettini will lose to Nadal, as well as the rest of the three other gentlemen that are still on the men's side, because Nadal has variety. Nadal can attack the net. Nadal is lefty. I don't think, and we'll get into that in a moment, I don't think that Nadal will lose this tournament. I'm going to go ahead and call it, take it to the bank, bet on it, just don't come shoot me if you lose. Nadal will win 21 here. I don't trust Daniil Medvedev to take it. I don't trust Tsitsipas to take it. I don't trust Berrettini to take it. Why? Because I'm not saying they only have a hammer, but they have pretty much just a hammer. They're big hitters, big servers, power players.
Tsitsipas has tools, Justin.
Look, if I could forecast it, I'm guessing it would be a Nadal-Medvedev final, only because I think Tsitsipas is too much of a sissy boy to beat the Russian.
He might do a whole bunch of bathroom breaks, so they're both going to take a lot of bathroom breaks.
Medvedev won't let him do the bathroom break. He'll get in his face and be like, what? Didn't they almost get in a fight before anyway?
No.
Didn't Tsitsipas and Medvedev almost get into a fist fight on the court?
But the last time they played, Medvedev beat him, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Anyway, Barty versus Keys. Who you got?
Barty, but I want Keys to win, but I think it's a long shot.
I will agree.
Damn, boy.
I will agree with you. Barty wins. If Keys wins, she was using her hammer very, very, very well. Swiatek and Collins, we just talked about that.
Swiatek should win. We'll see what happens.
Swiatek has more tools in the toolbox. However, if Collins yells loud enough, gets in her face loud enough.
Yeah, might scare her.
Might scare her.
She might run like a bird.
Matteo Berrettini and Rafael Nadal. Who you got? Nadal might lose a set, maybe. And I may be wrong, and Berrettini may win in straight
I don't think
sets.
all four will have a chance winning Chia. I think the biggest chance, I think, is Medvedev to beat Nadal. I don't know. All of them. I mean, Tsitsipas can, but I don't know.
What's Medvedev?
Maybe he just have elbow surgery, and he didn't even play the ATP Cup singles. They say he played doubles because he wasn't sure about his elbow. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I don't see anybody beating Nadal right now. Again,
I'm not saying that nobody's going to beat Nadal. I'm just saying that I think Medvedev has a better chance.
If Nadal wins this, I get all of us here will follow head-to-heads and follow how many wins on hard court versus not, and we get all the Masters 1000 and everything else. But the majority of people in the world that we live in that are tennis fans, they're looking at championships. And if Nadal pencils in 21, he will, for now, I can assure you, be on ESPN, ESPN2,
I am so proud of my 21. I am very, very, very excited. Yes, I am Nadal, and I have 21. I work really, really hard, thanks to my camp, and my wife, and my coach, Moya. Yes, I'm just very, very, very happy.
Exactly. Well done. Well done. But I can assure you the headlines will read the following morning, Nadal is the GOAT, whether we believe so or not. And maybe it's not all the headlines.
I don't know about the GOAT. But you know, at 21, French Open is next, and I will try my very best to get 22. So yeah, let's see.
Okay.
No?
With a side order of thumb in his butt. Okay. He's saying all this with his thumb in his butt.
Maybe after 21, he'll get a better hair doctor. I don't know.
Yeah. Nadal gets 21 here, and I can assure you, Western media will definitely have Nadal as the GOAT the very next day, if not 5 minutes thereafter. And the sad thing about it is no one can argue it, because that's what people look at outside of the hardcore tennis fans, right?
First thing I said, 21 is good. No, for me.
21 good for me? Yes. Okay. Tsitsipas versus Medvedev.
I think Medvedev. Someone said here, Says for Life says Tsitsipas is Medvedev's Sharapova. Medvedev is determined never to lose to Tsitsipas.
That's right. Now, let me ask all of you a question here. I know Nadal is going to beat Berrettini. I know it. Okay, I'm not even losing sleep over it. Just tell me the score. We'll talk about it. I don't need to see the match. I'll watch it, obviously. But anyway, who would Rafa Nadal rather face? Tsitsipas or Medvedev?
Tsitsipas.
I don't know.
Do you think the one-handed backhand? You don't think he would pick on the one-handed backhand?
Well, I think that Tsitsipas is.
Tsitsipas has beaten Nadal before at a slam, right?
Yes,
okay.
I think here at the Australian Open.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? Because Medvedev returns the damn ball so far behind the baseline. You have to like shout to talk to him way back there. And look, I'm thinking that Tsitsipas has beaten Nadal recently. At least you just mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nadal would rather see Medvedev.
Maybe.
Nadal is a lefty, natural spin going the other direction. I think Nadal would rather see Medvedev.
Maybe. And you know, Nadal wins, he's going to say, oh, you Djokovic lovers, you know, me, goat, no? Yeah? Goat.
Exactamundo.
No, Djokovic lovers are going to be upset, though. I think the Federer lovers already gave up.
Oh, yeah.
They gave up.
Look, that's why.
Djokovic, Serbia's going to have like,
that's why I wore the hat.
They're going to have what do you call when they do not a celebration?
What?
A riot. They're gonna have a riot.
Chaos is going to ensue. Yeah, that's why I wore the Federer hat today, because I figured he's been written off, so at least I could bring him up. Okay, we good?
We're good.
All right, I have a racket on the stringer. I have the string. It's Carla's actually. She popped the string, and then we'll hit a couple balls to get them playable a little bit, and then we have a lesson at 3:30.
Yeah.
And then one at 4:30.
Yeah.
And then we're out, and then back again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what matches are tonight? Are there matches? What matches are tonight?
And they're in like 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning. It's the girls.
But we'll record them and watch them.
The girls are competing. Keys, Barty, Collins, and Swiatek.
And do we know our schedule for tomorrow on the calendar, so I can go ahead and tell them what time I think we'll be able to do it? Is it full day all the way through?
Tomorrow's a busy day.
Anyway, the schedule's there. Anyway,
I don't know. Maybe we'll have time. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll either be this time tomorrow or tomorrow evening when we get home.
Tomorrow, maybe after 1 o'clock. We're gonna have to squeeze it in there.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, if you subscribe, that's the only thing you have to do to qualify for the $500 in cash we're gonna give away for Roland Garros, and as well to be one of 2 winners for the fantasy team competition. Reminder, Stefan Nizovic, what's up, my brother? Let us know how you want us to send you that 50. We'll get it right to you. Gene Swart, we've already paid. We sent you that. I think it was $52.50 for us because we had to pay like an international handling fee. Thomas Chi, don't forget.
He's waiting. He says he's waiting to see what happens in the fantasy.
Okay, well, we paid you before. You know what'll happen again. And good luck for whoever is battling for second place on the fantasy team. Again, if there's a tie, you can split it and I'll up the ante an extra $10 and give it 30 and 30. Or we can flip back to the predictions for the 500 and find out whose players lasted the longest before they were disqualified and use that as a breaker. All right? Don't forget to subscribe. Much love. Let's go. Stay positive because everyone you meet is fighting a tough battle. Be kind. All right?
That is.
Say bye to this rascal. Sub-Zero. Take care, guys. All right? Peace. Ooh, you just about threw up.